All right. Good morning, guys. This episode is gonna be a little bit different, and the fact that it's like 6 months late. You guys are gonna join me on a drive as I go to my friend's place because there's a few things I want to talk about, including the recent trip that I've had. Um, I don't know if what order things are gonna be posted, but I have like recorded other stuff. It's a bit of wire tangling. But like I have been recording like a few things here and there. I might have to redo some of them, but um, hopefully we get back into things instead of leaving this for 6 months. Um, but yeah, welcome back to Ollie's Life in Progress. Boom. Okay. Um, right now you're joining me in a car wash. I'm going to be driving to my friend's place right now. But I really wanted to record this as impromptu as possible, and as soon as possible because I just came back from Melbourne after meeting some people, and I really just wanted to talk about it because I had a really good time. Um, Sorry, I'm getting like super distracted by this car wash, but yeah, let's start. What I might do is I might skip out on all the stuff that's happened in the past 6 months just because this like story is a bit long. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be a lot of recounting. Uh, Apologies because I'm gonna be looking at you guys directly. It's gonna be a lot of me just like looking forward driving. But hopefully my memory will serve me well for what's going on. Hopefully the mic quality is not too bad. This should calm down a little bit because we are currently air drying in the car wash. But yeah, um, let's start with who I met up with. So about sorry, excuse the this quality is gonna be horrid for this episode. But you know what? We haven't posted anything in like 6 months. We gotta post something, you know? Yeah, so about 2 years ago, I met with I was in a random Valorant game and I met these wonderful people on Valorant. So there was a I'm gonna use their game name because I don't know if they want me using their real name. So there was a man named Dash and a woman named Mika. Mika's a very, very long time listener. So actually, I think it'll be fine. I'll check with her later, so I'll use her real name. Her name's Thav. Hello, Thav. But yes, I bumped into Mr. Dash and Thav on a Valorant lobby, and they were like in some sort of mood. Like they were like just goofing around. And then like me being my usual self, like quite an extrovert in the game. I like love using voice comms in the game. I think one of my favorite parts of playing Valorant is the voice comms. For a bit of background for those who don't play games, as I know a lot of people listening probably do not play Valorant at all. Good on you, firstly. And secondly, it's a game where it's just a first-person shooter game where it's like a 5v5. There's a little spike thing that explodes when you plant it. You're just typical 5v5 diffuser bomb sort of game, right? Um, but the best thing, in my opinion, about Valorant is the fact that you meet people from all around the world, and not all around the world, all around like Australia, because the servers are pretty local. Um, and yeah, like so I booted up. I like solo queuing, so like you're in a team of five. When you press play, you can play by yourself or you can play with a bunch of people. If you play by yourself, you're put in with a bunch of random people. So I decided, as I did with many nights of my life, that you know what, I sort of just want to talk with random people. Let's goof around, see what they're about. And we launched into a game, and there was Thav and Dash. And we had like the best time joking around and just having a blast, just joking and playing the game. So then after a game, they added me and then they invited me to the server and for the past 2 years, I've been really good friends with them. They've like over time we've gotten like closer. Um, through Discord. Discord's like a chatting app for those who don't know. It's kind of like Skype or like kind of like Microsoft Teams or Zoom, but like a lot more casual and a lot more like less professional. Um, so yeah, they over the years like I've like told them a lot about my life. Like I've told them about like my little hobbies. We've like spent a lot of time on call together. So then one day, about a month and a half ago, me and Zach and Jenny and Thav, we were all sitting in call. I'll check if I want to use their names after, but otherwise you will hear a bunch of blanks. But yeah, um, but yeah, we're sitting in call, and Thav was like, "Oh, I wish you guys were all in like all come to Melbourne," and then I think I was planning because I usually go down to Melbourne for the F1. Um, and yeah, so I usually go down to for the F1. The F1 runs in March. So I went in March. I saw Thav and Dash briefly. Unfortunately, this time I couldn't see Dash. Just timings didn't line up and stuff. But I will see him next time. But we were in call, and I was like, I sort of want to come in the mid year. And Zach was like, I was also planning to come. And then Jenny has always wanted to go to Melbourne, so just to hang out with Thab and stuff. So Jenny convinced her parents, and then was able to make it as well. And we all sort of just make this plan over like a month. We just booked an Airbnb. We like did a bunch of stuff, and just plans just lined up. So Zach lives a bit up north from me, so he made his own way um, to Sydney, and then I drove down to Melbourne with him. So his trip was quite long. He was very much dreading it initially, just the initial train ride, really, because he lives up north in like in sort of like a smaller town. He doesn't really live that close to like any sort of easy transportation. So he is train wired was, if I'm not mistaken, he will correct me in core because he will definitely listen to this. But it seemed like his initial journey was about 7 hours by train or 6 hours by train. Because from what I remember, he left at about midnight and then got to Campbelltown at night. It would have been like 8 or 9 hours actually. So half of his trip was just on the train trying to get to Sydney. Although he doesn't like live too far north, but it's sort of like it would have cost me the same time as what it cost him to come down, so I didn't pick him up. I didn't go up north. Although usually I would with if it was closer. Um, so yeah, um, yeah. Getting into the actual trip. So Zach came down to Sydney, and then I met him at Campbelltown. This was the second time I met Zach. Um, Same as last time. A lot of fun. Um, so we met up in Campbelltown. I'll tell you more about him when we get to the drive part. Um, and we met up in Campbelltown, and I was like, okay, I think we should probably find somewhere to eat. So then we found a spot. Um, I found like a little cafe because it was like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Like there wasn't really much open, and like because everyone in Campbelltown area sort of like wakes up a bit later, things open a bit later. So we found this cafe, and well, I found this cafe online on Google Maps, and I was like, you know what, let's just go there and just see what's up. And then we went into this cafe, and there was this like it was like sort of like Vietnamese from what it seemed, um, and they had like these little like Vietnamese decorations and stuff, but it was sort of designed as a cafe that was like a bit like there was a lot of like wooden stuff around. It was still like a Western sort of cafe, but had like elements of like Vietnamese culture around the place. It was kind of nice, but when we initially got there, looking at this cafe, it looked a bit dodgy because there was like a ramp going upwards, and behind the ramp, there's like a cafe behind it. So it looked very like sort of like very dim and very like odd. And when we walked in, there was a guy, there was a guy and a girl that worked there. I presume that they're part of a family who lives just upstairs from the cafe. Or maybe that's my my like fiction reader side coming out because I'm currently reading a book where that's the case. But it tends to be like people that work these sorts of jobs to sort of just live upstairs. But yeah, so we went into this cafe and Zach ordered an acai bowl and he ordered a nice smoothie. And I ordered myself a hot chocolate and a what did I order? Cheese and tomato sandwich. I was kind of like questioning whether this cafe was gonna be like a good cafe. So I was like, you know what? Let's go something really uncontroversial. I think it's probably really hard to mess up a cheese and tomato sandwich, and it will probably give me enough food to just survive until like when I next get hungry. So I was like, all right. So we like sat down. They're like, you can sit anywhere because it was an empty cafe. It's like 9 a.m. Like no one's gonna be around on a Friday 9 a.m. in a cafe, really. Um, so we sat down and we're like just talking. We're just like, oh, like how's it going? How's the train trip? And then in the background you just hear bang, bang, bang. It's just, we just start laughing because I don't know what they were doing to make Zach's acai bowl, but it's like I don't know. They were like chopping down the tree to get the acai to then chop the acai. But there was it was like really it was like metal on metal action, you know, like just constant clanks all over the place. It like jump scared us initially, and then it just kept going for like another like probably like another 5 to 10 minutes. Um, we were just like silently sitting there like giggling a bit, and we are like really confused, like what the like what's happening. Um, and then yeah, so they made this acai bowl. This acai bowl looked pretty nice. They added like some like chocolate. I've never had an acai bowl, and I really feel like it. But looking for it, there was like a. It was really nice with the fruit mix that they had. But then they had like a lot of like they had this like chocolate sauce, and I wasn't so sure about the chocolate sauce. I don't think it sat well with Zach too much either. He had some of the fruit, but yeah. Um, anyways, I then was sitting for like another like 10 minutes while the cyber was there. I was like, I wonder what's happening with my cheese and tomato sandwich. And I was like, I don't want to be rude. I was like, if I get up and they're already making the sandwich, there's not really anything they can do to really speed up the process, and I don't really want to put pressure on them. Especially because they're a small business, maybe they're like new. But I got up and went to the counter, and as soon as I went to the counter, I see in the corner of my eye they have the sandwich in the presser. I'm like, damn, I am gonna look like I'm mad. So like I just quickly I was like, oh, just checking on the cheese and tomato sandwich. I see that you're making it. It's so good. So we sat down. The cheese and tomato sandwich was pretty good. I think it was alright, no problem. Then I grabbed a Coke Zero, um, and then off we went. We went on our drive. Then on our drive, I made a jam, and I got Zach's a DJ, and Zach's got a lot of variety in his music, um, which is really cool, especially for a 9 hour drive. In fact, in the whole drive, I don't think there was one song that repeated, which is quite a big like achievement considering we're on a 9 hour drive. And I was actually really happy with this DJing. So Zach, if you're listening, thank you very much for your DJing. It was a lot of fun. There's a few songs here and there that I knew, so we sang along, and that was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, so we set off from Campbelltown, and then we were heading down. And as a kid, I always like every time we would like head out to. I've gone to Canberra a few times with family, and to Melbourne, and to a place called Cooma as well, which is near Thredbo. So every time we go down that way, we always pass Goulburn, which has the big merino. Now Zach hasn't seen the big merino, so I found it really funny that I was gonna hype up this big merino like as much as I could. Um, and I was like, Zach, you got to see the big burrito. Um, I'm not sure what he was like thinking what the big burrito would look like. He actually didn't know what a burrito was, so it was like quite a surprise. And then we get there, and then like we see the fantastic big burrito standing there, and then we fill up our petrol. Um, so that was our first stop. It was about like an hour and a half into the drive. Um, but yeah, we had some really good chats, just having a good time with Zach. And then we get out for petrol. And Zach gets out for a little cheeky vape. I'm not one that vapes myself, but yeah, I mean, it's a strong addiction. Don't fault him for continuing an addiction that he sort of just has. Whatever, like, it's his choice. Fair enough. So he got out for a vape and he got out to just walk around, get some fresh air, stretch his legs. So I filled in the petrol. In the meanwhile, I was like, Zach, you should get a closer look at the Merino. The mirror. So I'm filling in the petrol. In front of us is a petrol station. Behind us is the Merino, like across the road. So it was a pretty big petrol station. So then Zach walks towards the Merino, and as he's walking, there's a car that pulls up behind us, and Zach's got like Zach's got a pretty cool aesthetic. Like it's very unique aesthetic. He's got like a nose ring. I think that's what you call it, like a nose ring. As well as like he wears a beanie and like has like a pretty cool vibe to him. But like the vibe is like kind of an acquired taste for a lot of people. So uh, it's not like it's not something that like I think people get a little bit like freaked out about it or something. It happened last time when he came down as well. Like there was a few people that were taking a few looks at Zach, and he's not a big fan of when people take a look at him either. But it was really funny seeing that as Zach was walking. So the people that got behind us, I presume it was like a family, like a little kid and his parents. I think the mom went in to get like some snacks or something while waiting for me to fill the petrol. And then the little kid was like outside, I think talking to his dad, but he was like with the door open, standing out. And then Zach walks behind him, and the look of fear in this kid's eyes as Zach was like passing me. I don't know what the kid thought Zach was gonna do, um, but like it was a really really funny scene. And then Zach, and I feel in the picture, and Zach comes in, and he's like, "Bro, they were taking a look at me, bro. They're always looking at me." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, just one sec. I think I went over the speed by like 1k. Got a bit nervous. Anyways, yeah. So like, you just take a glance at him in complete fear of him, and I'm like, Zach, just an intimidating guy. You know? It was just a funny moment. And then we got in. I got myself like a drink, like a little bit. What drink would I have gotten? Like a Fanta or something. And then we continued our continued our drive. And then Zach continued DJing. We continued having chats. I learned quite a bit about it, and it was like a lot of fun. Um, then we stopped at a place called Holbrook. Holbrook had like a wonderful like sort of vibe to it. It was a very peaceful sort of like town. Shit. Sorry. Someone just broke really hard in front of me on the highway. We're chilling. Okay, Holbrook. I think it's called Holbrook. It's somewhere like down south. It's another like couple of hours drive down from Goulburn. And we stopped there, and there was like a really nice mountain. We took a little break. I think Zach may have looked up a few more looks there. I don't know. People are just intimidated by his aesthetic, and fair enough. Like whatever. Um, and then off we went again. It was a really beautiful area, Holbrook. It was very sunny. And then after we got through Holbrook, I think it was either right before or right after we got through Holbrook. Um, Zach took a little nap, and then one of the funniest moments of the trip was the fact that when he took his nap, I just heard like a little giggle coming from him because like and it was such a funny vibe. He just seemed so happy in his nap. It was like the sun was shining, those beautiful hills, beautiful grass, like, and then you just have this guy taking a nap on the side, just giggling. Very, very cute. Um, anyways, we keep driving down, and then he like either wakes up at Holbrook or he wakes up a little bit later, like or he slept after. Anyways, we got to Albury, we went to the bottle shop. He wanted to collect some drinks. I'm not someone that drinks personally, but I was happy to accompany him during that. Um, the guy in the bottle shop was a nice guy. He like said hi to us and assumed we were gonna have a mighty weekend with our 2 cases of alcohol, and it was very funny seeing me hold this massive case of alcohol when I wasn't gonna drink even a drop of it. But that was a lot of fun. Then I think meanwhile he's messaging Thav, just coordinating times. And then we got down to Melbourne, and yeah, so I think we took another stop in between. Actually, before we get there, oh my god, There's a big thing. So there was a constant bit throughout the trip. I mean, on road trips, there tends to be like, it tends to get to a point where like you're just sort of clasping at straws on what to talk about. But we found this really funny bit. Um, it was that we noticed that like as we passed suburbs, like there was some really goofy names for these suburbs. Um, there was like, well, we passed through Wagga Wagga. We always find that really funny. And we passed through like a few other areas, and then came I think one of the best suburb names that I've heard in my life. It was Strathbogie, and from then on, Strathbogie was the constant meme. But I don't know what happened, but like I think on the Albury stop, I saw a suburb called Yeah, like YEA, yeah, and I thought that was really funny. And it was sort of on the way a little bit out, and I was like, you know, we should stop at Yeah, and then Zach just replies, Yeah, great bit, good stuff. And then we were like, yeah, we're gonna go to Yeah, and then we exited the highway for a little bit. I didn't know this was that far out of the route that we have to like exit the highway and go to a different main road, but that's what happened. And we went past the sign, and Zach was like, I don't know what I just saw, bro. And I was like, what'd you see? And he goes, bro, the suburb's called Strathbogie. And we just started laughing our heads off at this name. This is like 6 hours into the drive, so we're also kind of cooked at this point. And then like because the sun was starting to set at that time, it was about like 5:30 in the afternoon, and it's like winter here, so like the sun was almost setting. So as soon as we passed Strathbogie, I don't know what was going on, whether it was like bushfire season there or something like that, but like it was just filled with smoke. Like this area was just filled with smoke. Zach took a picture and then like it like we sent it across to Thav and Jenny, and they like didn't even like they thought it was like it just seemed like unreal. Like how much smoke you could only see like a couple meters ahead of you. Like it was like really, really smoky. And I think there was a bit of smoke mixed in there too. Um, but like it was as soon as we passed Strathbogie. So for the entire trip, we coined the phrase "the curse of Strathbogie" because as soon as we passed Strathbogie, the curse just hit, man. Um, and as we were going through this fog, like it was like a really narrow road. It was like there's like one lane going forward, one lane going like behind, and it was like 100 kilometers per hour speed. So like there's like cars in front of you that are zooming past at 100 k's an hour. That like it's a very like sort of scary road. There's like curves as well that you're like going around, and it doesn't even feel like you should be doing 100 k's an hour. Um, but yeah, like it was a like kind of scary part of the drive. It was like in a forest as well. Like it was like there was like trees everywhere. Like it felt really horror movie vibe. Like there was strong horror movie vibes to it. But yeah, like we went through Strathbogie, and then we went through this other suburb like in this fog, and then all of a sudden like this I don't know what it was. It was like something that like flew past us. Something flew right past the car. I don't know if it was like a bird or like something like that, but it just seemed like it was going so fast across. Like it was going like really quick. Like you couldn't even see it properly. Um and we just said, yeah, the coast of Strathbogie's here. We're just gonna make it out of here alive, man. And then we like continued driving, and then we got to Yeah, and I filled petrol there, and then it was really cold there, like really cold. But the guy at the counter, he's a very bogan guy, very nice guy. Had a nice little like chat with him, like nice little hi hello sort of vibe. Um, but yeah, like it was a good trip there. Then we finally get to where we need to go in Melbourne, and then we get there. And Thav and Jenny, as soon as they hear us coming, they like jump outside, start dancing. It was like really good vibe. Um, Jenny's super energetic. I really love that. It was a lot of fun. Thav's also super energetic. Everyone's just top energy from everyone. Um, so we park in the garage, unload our stuff, and I think we're going to meet Thav's mom that night, or like Zach at least was going to meet Thav's mom because I had to talk about something. But yeah, like we decided to set our stuff down and we're gonna have a chill night. We sort of like established whose room's whose. I got to have my room downstairs. That was kind of cool because like I got to have like a bit of my own space. Um, like it gives me like some time to reflect. I feel like Zach got the couch in the middle, like there was like it was like a three-story place. It was like a three-story townhouse. The bottom floor was just had one bedroom. The middle floor is like your like lounge and kitchen, and then the top floor is like there's like a master bedroom. So Jenny and Thav shared the master bedroom. I got the bottom floor bedroom, and then Zach slept on the sofa bed. Um, but yeah, the good thing about Zach's sleeping arrangement is he was always in the middle of everyone, which was kind of good for him. I think. I think it's good when he's like always in people, um, because I think like things can get into your own head a bit if you're like kind of like if you got into the bottom room. I don't know. Maybe you might disagree, but like I think it works well for me because I read like in my spare time as well. Like at night, I would read and then catch up on notifications on my phone and stuff like that. So it helped a bit. Um, but yeah, it was really good having Zach kind of in the middle. Like he was always around and always like having a good time, always talking. Um, and then if he wanted to nap at any time, he's quite a deep sleeper, so he can just like sleep while we're all just still doing our thing in the lounge and kitchen. But yeah, so yeah, we get there, everyone sets their stuff down, and then Thav cooks us dinner. And she was always like kind of like already prepping stuff. I didn't know this was gonna happen. I sort of budgeted for like us eating out all the time. But Thav cooked us like a wonderful dinner. Thank you very much, Thav, again for that dinner. Um, so she cooked us like this. It was like a cheese and potato sort of dish with and then she cooked like some chicken as well, and it was like some I think it was like asparagus with some like type of cheese on it. I loved it, man. Um, I don't know. I think they're like light eaters. So they everyone had their own little portions, and then like I was like, I don't know if I want to eat more. I don't want to look like I'm just like a I don't know like a big goblin eating his food. Zach wasn't too hungry at this point. Like food just wasn't agreeing with him. I think traveling just does that to you, and like some other stuff was going on. So yeah, he laid off the food for a while and just took some time alone in the balcony. I think that was a good time for him. Um, and he reflected later that he had a really good time. So yeah, we sat around the dinner table eating, and then I had my portion, and then I loved the potatoes so much. I had like pretty much I finished like most of the potatoes that night. That because no one else was eating, I was like, I'm going in, guys. And I think they weren't that hungry either. Maybe I just ate everyone's portion and just they did they were like internally despising me. No, I don't think it was that. I think there was genuinely a lot of leftovers and there was nothing to do with it. Um, so yeah, like we all it was a really nice sort of food time. And then after that, we got out the cards. I have to think about whether the on the first night we played, like what we did in the first night, because like things merge in my head. But yeah, so like we go in, we had some really good chats. We like stayed up for a while. We're just joking around, and I think we got out some they got out some drinks. Jenny and Zach had some drinks. I think Tav had a bit too at that night. But they didn't want to have too much because the next morning they were gonna talk to Tav's mom. Tav's mom was gonna meet us, and we didn't want to look too drunk in front of her. Oh, well, we like they didn't want to. I wasn't drinking at all. Um, and then there was also this constant bit of like, because like I don't have high tolerances for like anything. So like, for anyone that doesn't know, Coke Zero actually has like a little bit of caffeine. So when I drink Coke Zeros, sometimes I get like a little bit hyper. Like when I drink caffeine, I get hyper because I don't drink coffee either. This will come back later in the story too. Um, but yeah, like it was like yeah. So we had like we recounted like our trip. We talked about the Strathbogie curse, and that became like a whole thing for the entire trip. Um, and we were just sitting around and joking. And as people got more drunk, it was like they were having a lot of fun in their own way. I was also just like sitting around enjoying observing everyone. Um, Nothing like super unsafe really happened. Um, at least at that night. So that was like really chill. It was a very nice first night. And then I think we slept at about midnight, I would say, or like a bit after midnight. I think Jenny and Thav they went up to their room and they had like a little like girls sleepover sort of vibe, which was super nice. They like stayed up talking, um, and yeah. So the next morning came around. I'm like kind of like I like half wake up at like 9 in the morning. No, we would have slept later. We slept at like 3 or 4. We were just up, just talking and playing games and stuff. Um, But like I woke up lightly at like 8ish. I checked my phone and I think Zach sent me a message, but I don't remember what it was. And then later on, I checked my phone when I actually woke up at like I think it was like 11ish.
And I woke up a bit nervous because I was like, I think Thav's mom might be here, and it's such a bad look if like her friends are just like sleeping at like so late. It's like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna look in front of her. Cause like, yeah, like Thav's just had like a recent friend that's been very not nice to her, and I don't want her mom thinking that she has like only bad friends. I felt like I was like kind of a like I was one of the people that are kind of like a representative for all of her friends. So I was like a bit nervous. I checked my phone. I was like, Zach was messaging about like taking a shower because the shower was attached to my room and he's another shower like upstairs. So I was like, yeah, Zach, come down. You can take a shower. And then I hear a few steps happening on the stairs. And all of a sudden, my door opens and he goes, oh! I'm like, bro, what happened, Zach? He's like holding his foot and like hopping around. The poor guy, he like rolled his ankle on the last stair because the stairs were a little bit curved. He thought the final step was there, so he rolled his ankle on the last step. And then, yeah, like it was just so sad watching him like limp around. And I was like lying in bed, like I was like leaning up a bit, and I was like looking at him, and I was like kind of like half asleep as well. And I was like, I actually had no idea what to do in that circumstance because this guy's limping, and it's like there's nothing really you can do about it. So I was just stuck there, like lying in bed, looking at him, just watching him, sort of like half giggling about it. And then, yeah, we decided that that rolled ankle was all the Strathbogie curse's fault. The Strathbogie got him, you know. So that was good. We got like a little funny twist to the injury, and I think that helped him cope with the pain of the injury a little bit. Um, but yeah, he did get like a little ankle massage as well. So hopefully that helped. Hopefully his ankle's fine now that he's home now. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll catch up with him soon and ask about it. But yeah, he took a shower. I went upstairs, and then did we have breakfast that day? So did we have breakfast? I think we didn't have breakfast that day. If I missed, I think I had some potatoes or something like that, like some leftover food. Anyways, Staff's mom comes in and because she really wanted to meet Zach and just talk with him. So she came upstairs. She's a wonderful person. She's really the kind that like really looks like she's got her stuff together. Like I was having a conversation with her. I know I felt a bit guilty in this conversation as well because I've realized that like because like I'm quite extroverted and I'm like happy to talk. I sometimes take the stage a bit too much. I hope people didn't feel like that, but I don't think they did because I tried to clarify with them after. It seemed like they were all nervous. Um, I was like told later on that like Zach was like especially nervous at the beginning. So yeah, like your friend's mom wants to talk to you. It's a bit like scary. So yeah, like I like talked about like oh like we talked about the trip on the way here. She was really nice. She's really good at like filling in the silence in the room. She's always good at directing conversation, which is really nice. And she just seems like really on top of it. Like there's not really one point when you're interacting with her where like nothing's going on and it's silent. It's always just something going on. It's a really good quality to have, and I sort of aspire to be like that. It was really nice, like speaking to her. And then she went down, and Zach and her like took a nice walk, and they talked for a while, and they got in contact with them. Blah blah blah. Like I don't really know much about that story, nor do I really want to pry in sort of just their business. In the meanwhile, I think we had some food. No man, we had like I don't know. I think Tab might have cooked some food. That was either yesterday or on Saturday. Um, Day before or on Saturday. Saturday or Sunday. Um, so yeah, we decided that we wanted that to be our out day. But by the time they got back, it was about like 4 o'clock. So, they got back. And we're like, okay, let's go out. By the time I was like kind of like low on energy because I think my sleep was a bit weird. Like, I actually was it that night? I think it was that night where like I thought oh, was it that night or the night after? No, it would have been the night after. But I've been having some weird dreams, man. I'll tell you about the weird dream on the next day's recount. Um, but yeah, like I um, we then went out, and I think we drove into the city area of Melbourne, like near the city area, and we like really just wanted to go around. I think Thav was looking to go to this exhibition place, but then before that, we really wanted to go. Where did we want to go? Like there was a jewelry store. We wanted to go thrifting. We went to a few thrifting shops. Found Jenny a jacket. I think she bought the jacket. Yeah, she bought the jacket, and then it was this like denim jacket, and it had like a little ripped sort of vibe to it. It's like wings at the back, very like it got a very cool aesthetic. It reminded me a bit of like Vi in Arcane, if anyone has seen it. Like you know, she's got that like little hood on her like jacket. Um, it's got that kind of look to it, but it's denim and it's like a white and light blue sort of vibe. So there's like wings at the back. Gives very like yeah. Um, like Vi sort of it reminded me of like the independent sort of like strong sort of like woman sort of independent vibe. It fit Jenny really well. So she got her jacket, and then oh, in the morning as well, we challenged each other to planks, me and Jenny. So we did this plank challenge. I got 57 seconds on the plank. I was really proud about that. Um, and then Jenny, like I don't think she's done a plank in ages. So she only got like a few seconds in. But it was really fun. Just her like active and energy vibe. Um, Even like the Jenny's also like sort of a light drinker. Um, I remember she had like one glass or two glasses, and then her face was all flushed, and she was like stumping around. But what a really funny part about it was that whenever she would need to lock in, it was really funny seeing that no matter like if she was drunk or not, and stumbling around how much she wanted to, if she really wanted to lock in, she would just like posture up straight, off she goes. You know, like it was a very good vibe, a very very funny vibe. She also could really hold like really good articulate like conversations, which is really interesting to see from a drunk. Because usually they start to like slur their speech, they start to like, um, I don't know, get a little bit more like drowsy and stuff. But with her, it seemed like she was a bit locked in. But yeah, we had some really good chats. Um, and yeah, and then after getting back, so we jumped back and forth a bit. But like after we went thrifting, we saw this like jewelry place. So we like sat around the jewelry place. And then like I felt really tired, so I just like sat down. I didn't really have much to say. And then afterwards we passed by a cafe, and in that cafe, I was like, you know what, I should probably get a snack. And then maybe that might wake me up. So we got a snack, and I got strawberry tart because I really wanted some like custard to sort of I felt like the sugar and like the coldness might wake me up. And it was really good. Um, and I ate the strawberry and custard tart. Um, and on our way back, actually on our way there, like when we are going thrifting, we like sort of a stop and we're deciding what to do. It's a really funny moment. Zach's very like all of us have our really random moments where we just I don't know an impulse happens and then just something really random happens, really out of context. And then there was one time when I was like standing all in a group and we're having a conversation. Jenny and Thad were like they were looking at each other, they're having a good time, just like vibing and like I think they were like talking about something. And I was just looking at Zach right across. So I was like facing him and they were like facing horizontally. And all of a sudden, I don't know what got into Zach. But he just lifts up his jumper and shirt, shows me his belly, gives that fat slap. And it was the funniest thing that I've ever seen. And then Thav and Jenny look at me. And then I came to realize, literally, we were in public. I don't think a single person saw that apart from me. And it was like, it was as if like a direct message was being sent to me from Zach where he was smacking his belly. A very funny moment. Um, I think the Strathbogie demon just got inside of him in that second. It's very funny. There's a lot of moments like that. Just something really random happens. We're just joking around the entire time. It's a really good vibe. Um, but yeah, so we then decided that we drove towards the exhibition um sort of area. I think that like they had some sort of exhibition thing. But then like by the time we got there, it was a bit closed. It was closed because we like slept a bit late, or like we slept in a bit. So then that was really good at this in the way that like she always had like a plan and organizing stuff. So she pivoted towards Fortress. Fortress is this internet cafe, and we all play a game called League together, which has been mentioned before in the podcast. So like it would be really cool because Jenny's from like Perth. Uh, like we're all from like really different areas, and we've traveled so far. And we're like it would be really cool to just sit right next to each other and play. So we're gonna go in, and there's four chairs free, and like they didn't let us go on those four chairs, and we're four people. There were like two sets of two chairs. I don't know why. And then we like talked to the guy, and I was like talking to him. I was like, hey, like, does like the crowd usually die down or whatever? And then he tried to encourage us to stick around, but he didn't clarify that people normally line up. So we like just went to the arcade and we just stuck around. And then when we got back, there was a queue of like 10 people, and we're like, okay, we're not finding a spot. So we decided to go Korean barbecue. So because like yeah, we decided we just came up with backup plans. It was really good in that way. The trip was really good in that way. That although it was only a weekend, we were able to fit in a lot. So we walked from Fortress to the car, then drove to the Korean barbecue place, which was called Goon Korean Barbecue, which is amazing name. What a pick! It was a really nice place, and the food that they had was really good. We got the Goon combo because you know you have to, you know, and it was like it came out with like some lots of like different types of barbecue meat, and then they got themselves some I think some alcoholic sort of like sugary strawberry sort of drink that they got, and they all shared that as well. I got myself a Coke Zero as always, you know, just gotta. Um, and then we sat down, and I don't know. This part wasn't the best part of the trip in a few ways. I think everyone was a bit tired by this point as well. Um, but they sort of like said to us that like, oh, like, do you guys have a reservation? We're like, no. And they sort of directed us upstairs into this room, and we sat down, and initially I was like, oh, this is good. There's like I thought like upstairs like it's in a room, so it might have been a bit quiet. But there was a group next to us that was speaking like really loudly, so it sort of like disguises by like things being really loud. It sort of disguises what you're talking about. But I think because we are all tired, especially me, I was like quite tired by this point, and other people like I think were like a tiny bit hungover, like they had like a little bit of like remnants of like stuff, and they were like having a bit of a headache. They were speaking pretty damn loud, like they were like half yelling. And they were like talking about the AFL and talking about the games and everything like that, and it was just giving me a headache over time. So we were just like eating quietly, pretty much. And then yeah, so it was a bit tough because like couldn't talk much. We were all kind of just in our own state. It wasn't a bad vibe. It was really good that we're spending time with each other. We had like that sort of like I don't know. I think our friendship was a lot like our like group of friends. There was two really good parts about it that I discussed with Zach on the way back as well. That we all have like a really good one-on-one vibe, but we also have a really good like we're also really good in the way that we can just sit silently with things. So like everyone's really good one-on-one with each other. So if like someone wants to directly talk to someone, even if we're in a group of four, doesn't really matter. Those two people can just talk in between each other. It's fine. The other two will find a way to talk with each other because we've all got our one-on-one correct connections. We've all played with each other. We've all sit on call with each other one-on-one. So we're very comfortable with each other. So even in that sort of silence, we just sort of enjoyed just hanging out with each other, which was really nice. It was a really good vibe. Um, so yeah, and as soon as they left, I like leaned back with my head and I was like, oh, the headache's gone. And then everyone agreed. And we were like, yeah. So we finished off our Korean barbecue and then we went down to the beach. So we sat in the car and we're like, oh, what should we do? Thav was like, this is really a good lookout point that we can go to. I have to go back there someday, but there was like a really nice it was like very nice beach area, but it was like one of those beaches where they had like sand and like the ocean like going out, but right behind it they had like a really nice like a beach town sort of area, like vibe to it, where like they had like a footpath, and if you go down the footpath, there's like restaurants and stuff like further down that way. Um, so like initially I think Jenny traveling so far and like things going on. So we did so much. It's only been one day of recounting, and it's been what 43 minutes of me talking. Like we've done a lot, and like even for Zach, we've did a lot. So there were a lot more in their like peaceful sort of moods. I think Zach felt a bit emotional, um, and like he sort of just had to sit with his emotions for a bit. So we gave him the space to do that. So Zach went on a bit of a walk. Jenny sat on the beach on the sand, and me and Thav we really wanted to go on the scooters because in Melbourne they have these scooters and they have these helmets, and like you just stand on the scooter and you just press a button and it just goes faster. And I haven't been on any of these. I haven't done any like public bike or like scooter sort of stuff. And I was like, this seems like an opportunity of a lifetime, and it seems like so fun. So we figured out how to. So Thav has been on it before, but because it was like nighttime, it was about like 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. So the sun was well down, um, and it was really dark. So we're like, oh, we should go on a scooter ride. So we got on our scooters and we had like a really nice like ride all the way down. So we went all like we explored. There was like a little bridge as well that we went over. It's like this really nice vibe with all these like little. There's like a nice like tile area with like little like wooden planks as well. There was like some nice restaurants, and I peed into one of these restaurants. It looked like it was like the end of their shift, so they were getting their brief rundown, and it seems like some people were getting told off. Very funny to pass by. Um, and it was just like a lot of fun. And then we just like rode all the way down. And then once we got like about 15 minutes one way, we turned around and came back. Um, and then we sat with everyone, and then we talked for a bit, and then we decided to go back. And on our way back, we got some drinks. And then here's when I realized like not realized, but I saw it again. The nightlife in Melbourne is so nice. Like you just have people walking around all the time. And this isn't people like you have the occasional crackhead or you have the occasional like guy that's like a bit off his head. But like there's a lot of normal people walking around that are like really happy to talk. Like you can say hi to them or not to them. They're all really nice people, really friendly people. Um, so yeah, it was like a really good vibe just going down to the bottle shop. Even like the security guard. I think Jenny and Thad were standing in front of us, and they were like sort of goofing around and having fun. And then the security guard was like, like don't worry, these two really big men behind you are gonna protect you tonight. It'll be all good." It's a really funny remark. Like it's very chill, very fun. Um, so then they got like a drinks, like a few drinks. And we got back to the apartment. And because it was a Saturday night, we decided to stay up a bit more. Played a bit of Cards Against Humanity. Um, it was really fun. Like we played some Cards Against Humanity. What did we play after that? Well, we were chatting for a while around the table, and people were just drinking and whatever. It's very fun. We're laughing like most of the time. It was really fun because like through all the like I think what happens as well is that it's good that when you get a momentum of laughter because I think it encourages people to continue on that. It was really nice just having that sort of vibe. Very, very fun. Then I we went to sleep at about 3 again, or like 2ish. I think Jenny and Thad would have stayed up a bit later. Zach might have stayed up a bit later as well. But yeah, we slept, and I think the on the Sunday, Zach wasn't feeling too good, and on this day as well, um, Thav's sister Chin decided to come join with us. Um, and she was a bit nervous at the beginning. It was really like I was like, I really wanted her to feel included, and I really hope she did. Well, I know she did by the end. But like, I tried to like ask her a lot of questions about what she does, and like, it was really good to see her open up slowly. And like, I think she's like a bit inside of her own show initially, and like not too open. Like she just like likes to observe the vibe rather than like directing it. Um, and it was at one point where like I said to Chin, I was like, Chin, tell us a story. And then she like, because she does like design and she's got that like creative side to her. And she was, I don't know, I think she had like a drink or two. She just felt like quite confident. I think she felt comfortable as well. She just goes into the storytelling. She puts on this like really ironic like storytelling voice. She like, closes her eyes, waves her arms around the air, and like talks about like a full-on made up narrative. It was really fun, and it was really good to see her open up. And then as the day goes on, and it also was really funny because Zach just like we're like all sitting there, and then Zach all of a sudden just does one of his like random remarks. Like he's got these stories from it because he lives in a small town, and like there's a few drugs going around in these small towns. He sometimes talks about the things that have happened. There's a guy called Toasty that he talks about. This guy that like, oh, this guy's crazy, man. He like broke someone's window, took like a crossbow from this guy, and then like chased him. Like, and then like his thumb was like hanging off his hand. A crazy story. And then like he's like run through a bunch of fences. This guy's like 6'5", like a massive dude. Um, so like he tells stories like that, and it like sort of like lightens the mood and like how absurd it is. So like it was just a really good vibe. Like everyone was just like vibing with each other a lot. And then it came time because I think it was Stav's idea that yeah, it was Stav's idea that she baked the cake because she was like, it's been everyone's birthday, so we want to celebrate everyone's birthday, especially Jenny's, who's like traveled from Perth. And it was also like because it was really close to Jenny's birthday. Um, so we got a cake and we cut the cake, and then Zach was like passed out on the couch for the alcohol that he drank. So we have this photo of us. Cause like we are taking photos, and I really wanted like everyone to feel really included in this, and we wanted to make a memory out of it. So I took photo of like a Jenny and Thab sitting on the cake,
I took a photo of like, and I tried to get Chin in there as well. I took a selfie with all of us in it, and then in the corner of my eye, I see Zach like completely like fast asleep because we tried waking him up in between, but I think he was so far deep in his sleep that he just wasn't gonna wake up. So I was like, we gotta get a photo with Zach. So we brought the cake around with the candles still lit. Everyone's standing around it, and I take a selfie and we're like pointing at Zach. It was a very cute photo. It was really, really funny. Um, and then we like cut the cake, and this cake was a really nice cake. Thank you, Thav, for organizing the. Thav was the MVP of this trip by far. Like made everything happen. Um, although like we all traveled from really far, the person that really organized stuff over there was Thav, and I think everyone would agree. Um, so it's really good that like the cake. There was also there's this Sri Lankan tradition that we did that whenever it's anyone's birthday, the person goes around and feeds everyone the cake. I know there's similar traditions in Pakistan as well. So like, um, yeah, like it was really good. It was very cute. So Jenny went around and fed everyone a little bit of cake, and everyone just took a bite out of it. It was really really. It was just cool. It was really fun. Then we sat around and talked for a bit. Then we decided we really wanted to go karaoke. So then we, oh, before that, I did my, as everyone knows, or like not everyone, but like as some of you may know, some of my friends and stuff. Um, well, so there was music going on in the background. We had a speaker on in the background. So there was always music going on. And then at one point, I don't know, I was a bit tired, so I was like, you know what would really wake me up? A nice little karaoke of Mr. Toot. So we queued up Mr. Toot and I sang the entire song in front of Chin. I think that was to brighten up the mood as well. That was really fun. And after that, like I was on my momentum. I think I was a bit quiet before that, but then after that, I was really energetic and everything. So yeah, that was really really fun. Then we went to karaoke and we drive down to karaoke. We park in this area. Um, and we dropped some stuff off at Thav's place. It's good that Thav lived in Melbourne because like we had a lot of extra stuff, so they keep the stuff around their house. I saw her mom again, had like a little conversation. Um, Her mom was really fun to talk with. We talked a bit about podcasts. We talked. I mentioned as well that I've got a little hobby podcast as well. I'm sure Thav probably has mentioned it at some point. And yeah, I mean, if she's watching, hello. Um, I hope you're enjoying this very impromptu, informal episode. But yeah, anyways, we go to karaoke and then we go up into this karaoke place. Um, and we book for an hour. So we get up. I decided that I was gonna choose a song as well because that launched the idea that we want people to do solo songs. Everyone was too embarrassed, but me being me, I was the one strong veteran that's always extroverted and always try to show people that I'm confident so that I can bring them up as well. So I did the theme from New York by Frank Sinatra. I stood up there and did the theme from New York, so I just like sang along. Everyone had a good time doing that. We also played some rap songs. They were tough, man. I tried really hard, and we got like there's like a little score they give you as well. They like pick up from the mic and they give you a little score. I think it's probably fake as well because it felt really inaccurate. But like, I felt like I was carrying the rap. I was doing insane on the rap. Um, so yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think Chin also enjoyed the time. She was a bit shy on the mic, I think maybe, but maybe not. Maybe there was only 4 mics, so maybe she was just sharing with Av and trying to give everyone else the mic. She was also searching all the songs up for us. Very good, like very fun. Then afterwards, we wanted to go to the arcade. But as we walked to the arcade, oh, so before we go to the arcade, we got we got out from um this karaoke place and we entered the elevator and there was some random guy, like an Asian guy, like Eastern Asian guy, like in his like probably in his 30s or 40s. And we get in this elevator and there's like 5 of us at this point because 4 of us and that sister. And Zach's like around my height, so we're like around like 6 foot, 6'2", around that height. And this guy is like a little bit, he's under 6 foot and he's just standing there. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, this guy must be so intimidated. We're just like walking in and he's like alone in the lift. Zach gets in and he goes, how's it going, mate? And like, poor guy. And then after we exit the lift, Zach was like, "Oh, I just want to ask how it was going." And I was like, "Oh, that was just, it was such a funny moment." And it like, you know what? Like, it honestly gave me a lot of confidence and power to just like speak more in my life too. It's a really good hanging out with confident people, you know, because I feel like it gives you more power in what you do. I think that'll come through later in the story because I think Zach was a part of something else that happened later on that
I don't think he doesn't know of either. But yeah, so we did some karaoke. We got back. We dropped Chin back off at Thav's place. And then she went to bed, I presume. And then we all went back. Um, I think the night before as well, Chin called Thav up to discuss some drama. We were like hearing in some of the drama stuff. So um, it was pretty fun. And then there was like we're also watching Shark Tale, and there was like at the beginning of the movie there was this worm making all these expressions, and we tried to like not make Thab laugh while she was talking to Chin. But then she went upstairs because the conversation was very personal. Fair enough. But yeah, like we dropped Chin off, and then what do we do? So the next day I was driving back, so I was like, I need my sleep. So after talking a bit with everyone, getting some gossip about life in general, because like we know each other decently well because we've known each other for 2 years. But you know the good thing about making friends over like the past 2 years is that there's a lot of gaps in between that you don't know, and even like things in between. The thing with online friends is that there's things going like IRL that um, we don't know about. So like it's good to just catch up on this stuff. Just give me 1 second, I'm merging. Um, so yeah, like there's like stuff like in person that we just don't really know much about. So I like catching up about that, and like yeah, it was good stuff. And then I decided to go to sleep. They all decided to stay up, which I didn't know they were gonna do, but I heard like little bits of stomping in my sleep. Um, and then came my dreams, dude. On the Saturday night, my I had a I was dreaming that dude. I dreamed that like I saw my old maths teacher, and then like I died in a dream. Like someone like threw dynamite. It's just really weird dream. I was like, I don't know. I think when I get like really like light sleep, that's just what happens. I get like odd dreams. Another one that like everyone was like really angry at me. Like a lot of nightmares. Um, but yeah, I was like still fine. Like it's kind of like I think like I sort of knew I was in a dream as well, so it didn't really affect me too much. But yeah, anyways, I have my sleep. Then we wake up. We pack everything up quickly because I got up at like 9:15, and then luckily Thav and Jenny and Zach they were all on top of like clearing out the kitchen living space, and then yeah, so we went from there. We just split ways, and I dropped them off at their place. I remember like it was quite emotional for me inside. I'm not much of a crier, uh, but like I definitely got a bit shaky as I got to Thav's place because we dropped Jenny and Thav off. Jenny had a flight to take later. Me and Zach had to go. Um, I sort of said that like as soon as I got to Thav's place, I like saw the like vibe of the place, and I'm like, if I stay here, I'm really not gonna want to go. So I've learned from like my family especially that like whenever they travel as well, we very much have this thing that if people are like feeling emotional, you might as well say goodbye to people while you're still smiling rather than when everyone's in tears because it's gonna be really hard to let go. So I took that advice. So I gave everyone a hug and said bye bye, and then we walked out. Um, and then yeah, the little French guy, the little thing that so Jenny has this thing where like one of her like physical stims that she does is like this, which is like she puts her for people not watching, the thumb and the pinky out, and she like shakes it. I forget what you call that. It's like the surfer's high or whatever. But she like sees this. She got like a little crush on this like soccer player who's got like pink hair. And it's like really like outgoing and very like, yeah, it's very like sweet cute guy. Um, so like she like does that all the time. Very funny. So we did that when they were saying bye. Um, it's very sweet. And then me and Zach had to drive back. And on the drive back, um, I took a bit of caffeine and I like got my ice mocha. And dude, I haven't drinking like proper caffeine in a long time. So I was like really tired, and I was like, I don't know, like we're probably gonna have to take a lot more stops. I took this caffeine, like I took this like ice mocha, like the Dare ice mocha. I was like off my head for the entire ride. Like I was just constant yapping, man. Like if you think I'm talking a lot during this podcast, like I'm pretty much talking nonstop here. But in the car, like just permanently, just the going and going and going, man. Like it was really funny in his perspective as well, because I think he's noticed how like low my tolerance is to like any sort of thing that like affects my body. So yeah, that was really fun, and then we had a really nice like trip back where like it was a lot more like I think we are both a bit more tired, and like a bit emotional as well. So it was really nice to have company. I really want to thank Zach, man. Like, if it wasn't for him, he told me a story along the way that like his he doesn't have his car anymore because his grandpa and his dad went out on a drive and they flew off the highway. And there was this constant joke that that I tried to make where like if Zach wasn't there, we would have done the Zach's dad and grandpa special and flew off the highway. Uh, and I really think that was true. Like he really did give a lot of energy into the drive. Like it's a really long drive. A 9 hour drive is a long time, like 9.5 hours. Um, but yeah, like I'm just really grateful that because I've had experiences where I've met other people in person and it hasn't turned out really well. And these guys genuinely sound like really good people. I think in my perspective, it really feels like it feels energizing that like not only do I have really good friends in Sydney, it feels like also have like a base in Melbourne, like sort of like to gamify things. It's kind of like in Minecraft when you build like a house somewhere and then you build a house somewhere else and they're both kind of like your house. It's just a second base. Um, applies to like pretty much most things. Um, but yeah, like it was just a really fun trip. I really got to learn a lot about people. It was my first time meeting Jenny, so it was really cool seeing her in person because I think there's a lot of things that she does in person that you just don't see through a call. Like she's very like jumpy and energetic. She has very like strong facial expressions as well. And I haven't seen her before either. Like we haven't seen her on video that much either. Like I've seen her like Instagram a bit, but nothing much. But like adding of facial expressions, I think the fun part about meeting people online and talking to them for so long and seeing them in person is that like it recontextualizes how you see them the next time you talk to them. So I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, like it was a really fun trip. Um, and I just really wanted to recount all of this because it did mean a lot to me. Like the fact that people were so passionate and they were so energetic about coming together and like we have none of us like I think Zach hasn't seen Thav or Jenny like in person. He's only seen me once, and it's like taking that bold step to just go and see people that you feel close to online is a really big jump, and like they all made it happen in such a seamless manner. There was no drama at all. It was just such a really fun trip. So this podcast goes out to you guys, Thav, Jenny, and Zach. Um, but yeah. I think to sort of like conclude this podcast a bit. It's a lot of me yapping, so it's a bit shorter than my usual like 2 hour rants with my friends. Um, but to conclude it, I do have a book of the week packed in my bag. Luckily, we stopped at a stoplight right now, so we can take out this book. So this book is called The Magician's Nephew. Here we go, The Magician's Nephew. And yeah, so this I really so for the media of the week, this is my choice. The reason why I want to choose this book specifically, there's been a few books that I've read since the last episode. Oh, no, it's been like one or two books that I've read since the last episode, but this one really stood out. Um, because it really reminded me of this trip in a lot of ways. Um, the Magician's Nephew sort of goes through the story of um, this girl named Polly and this guy called Diggory. They're both like about 10 years old, and they find each other in their neighborhood. They like walk up and bump into each other, and they find out this whole great mystery about Diggory's uncle, and they find these rings and they go out to travel and stuff. Really reminded me of this trip because like it really felt like you got people that weren't familiar with each other in person too much, and you sort of just threw them together. And I think that the passion and the differences in personality that Diggory and Holly show throughout the book about just going around and even just like I don't know, just adventuring and stuff. It really felt like very aligned with how my life's been over the past weekend. Um, but yeah, like I just yeah, the book really connected in that way. I think there's a lot of connections you can make to a lot of things in this book, but it's I think it felt right in this specific way. But yeah, um, and I got back from Melbourne last night. I was gonna film this last night, but I decided to do it today because I was like, I should get some sleep before doing this because then I want to be in good energy. I'm actually kind of proud of myself because this is Well, no, this is actually the first episode where I've gone completely non-scripted, so it's quite like a big feat for me. Um, and yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I feel like I've opened up Pandora's box with this, in a good way. Or like Pandora's. What I mean by Pandora's box is usually it means like there's like bad and good coming from it. But like I think in this case I'm opened up a lot of good in the way that like because I've started this format of like while I'm driving I can just chuck a mic in front of me and record myself talking. I can sort of maybe just have more informal stuff. I think when I listen back to this again, depending on how rambly and stuff it is, we'll see whether this works. Because if it does, then I'm driving for a long time. Like I'm still on the same drive. So like I can put film like hour-long podcasts weekly pretty. I think probably pretty easily. Um, but yeah, like I think it might be something more achievable. Maybe there might not be as much to talk about as much as this one was. Um, my life seems maybe it might be. You never know. It might be just like a weekend review, like a recount, like this was. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this like new little format. Especially because it's unscripted. It's a less effort from me, but it's also more real. And I hope you enjoyed all the stories from the Melbourne trip. Unfortunately, my plan was to film a podcast episode with them in the room, but I felt a bit uncomfortable with like drinking going along. I didn't want anyone like saying something that they didn't want to say, and like I don't know, like I felt a bit awkward about all of it. I felt a bit awkward about like that sort of stuff, so I sort of avoided it. But next time you might actually meet this guy, like you guys, the listeners, might meet Zach and Sav and everyone. I try to avoid. There's been a few instances where I could be doing online stuff as well, like online podcasts. But I really like the way that in person works, so I'm gonna be keeping in person stuff. Um, so yeah, like there's a few little podcast little updates to end the episode. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun listening, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week or month if I don't get to this in the next month. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful time, and I will catch you all in the next episode. Bye bye. I should probably do a more animated bye. Let me just pull over. Here we go. We got a nice little pullover spot. There we go. Alright, guys, thanks for joining the episode. I will catch you all for the next one. Bye bye.